Welcome to Overalls and Alibis, true crime and mysteries with a touch of country charm. Grab a rocking chair and listen closely, because you'll never hear us repeating gossip. So you better listen close the first time. Hey guys, welcome in. We are starting off with the case, a missing children case in Nova Scotia, Canada. This is just a heartbreaking case, but also very mysterious and just makes no sense. It's heartbreaking. So I found this website is called crimetimelines.com. It is a great website to really it just puts everything together in one place, which is great. So we're going to look at this. Now, Lily and Jack Sullivan. Lily was 6 and Jack was 4 is I'm thinking was at the time. I don't know when their birthday is, so I'm assuming they're still 6 and 4. Okay, both children live with their mother, Malaya. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. Murray and stepfather Daniel Martell. Now it says stepfather, but I'm thinking, I mean, since she has a different name, I'm wondering, is he just her partner? Are they actually married? I don't know. So, but they're referring to him as stepfather, so I'll do that as well. Okay, they were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2nd. But there is some, it's there's some mystery around that. But so the mother said that she woke that morning to the sound of children playing in the next room, and she fell back asleep, woke again, and there was no she didn't hear anything and called 911. So a lot of people are questioning the timeline and some things that just don't seem to add up, but it's hard to know. And this is a very rural area, very country. So it's in the country. It's not that unusual for kids. You just sleep in a little bit while you when your kids are old enough to get up and play, with toys or whatever by themselves. And they had like a fenced in area in the backyard, so you would think out in the middle of nowhere like that, it'd be pretty safe for the kids to go out and play. So a lot of people are very critical of that, but that's kind of the way it is in the country. Your kids go outside and play. They do. So I'm trying not to have any kind of judgments, but there are some very questionable things. But let's see. Let's move down the timeline here. You can see this is like an overview. So it's a very rural area. Um, they're just so precious. This is breaking my heart. Okay, on the timeline though, they did not attend school that week since Tuesday. They were kept home because Lily had a cough. Now this may be what they consider the last sighting by a non-family member. The bus driver made the statement that he dropped them off at home after school on Tuesday. And so then Wednesday, there was no school because it was like a school holiday kind of thing. And then Friday, they were kept out of school. Thursday, sorry. Thursday, they were kept out of school because Lily apparently had a cough, they said. And then Friday morning, they were reported missing. Okay. And some people say, well, technically, they could have been missing from Tuesday afternoon on, which is, I guess, possible. I have not myself seen any interviews or statements made by Daniel's mother or brother. And it's interesting because at first they were saying that the mother, Daniel's mother, and his brother lived in the little, I'm trying to find that picture, a better picture of both places. Okay, here we go. That they lived in this RV thing here. It looks like maybe an RV that they kind of converted over to a more permanent dwelling. Um, but then later they started denying that the brother was there, that it was only the mother. So I have questions about that. Was there the brother living there with the mother, or just the mother, which would be grandmother too? Because they had one child together, and Lily and Jack were from her previous relationship. So that's interesting about why there's a discrepancy now, I think. What do y'all think? Okay, so there was a statement made by I'm not going to try to pronounce that, the chief and council. She is indigenous. It says, "We understand that people across Turtle Island are closely following the case of Jack and Lily Sullivan, who went missing on the morning of Friday, May 2nd, 2025, from Lansdowne Station in Pictou County. Apologies if I'm pronouncing anything incorrectly. Our chief and council administration and the entire community are united in our strong desire to see these children return home safely. Our thoughts are with them every minute, every moment until they are found. Given the seriousness of this situation, we want to remind our community and the public that regardless of personal feelings or speculations, our collective focus should remain on the children's safety. It can be easy to get caught up in various narratives and assumptions, but we must prioritize ensuring Jack and Lily are found and returned to their loved ones. We kindly ask our community to approach this sensitive situation with compassion and understanding. Please refrain from jumping to conclusions or sharing unverified information, as this can complicate the efforts of the multiple agencies involved in the ongoing investigation. Your cooperation and patience are invaluable during this time. We encourage community members to come together to support one another, whether through sharing helpful information, providing emotional support, or participating in awareness efforts. Every action counts. Let's continue to keep Jack and Lily close in our hearts and minds as we investigate this challenging time. Navigate this challenging time together. I got so close to reading that right and messed it up at the end. It says there was no evidence of foul play or abduction at this time. They did not issue an Amber Alert. I don't understand why. I mean, trying to understand, is the Amber Alert only when they think it's an abduction? I don't know. So they believe they have wandered. I don't know. I think, I guess I'm going to try not to make any assumptions like that council asked for. But I don't understand why they didn't. Why not cover both bases? Search as if they wandered off and put an Amber Alert just in case they possibly were taken. Let's see. But when reporters asked the maternal grandmother for comment, they declined. Said the police told them not to discuss the case with media. And it was said that the mother, left the home and went to stay with the youngest baby, Daniel's baby, to stay with her mother, relatives. And so she is not at the residence right now. And there's been a lot of talk about that, but we're not going to jump into that. I mean, there's so many different reasons why something like that can happen. So many. And some people have said it was because the mother-in-law asked her to leave. So you can see it's such a stressful situation. Everyone's upset. I mean, were they starting to blame each other? You should have got up earlier. You should have been watching. Who knows? I can definitely see that kind of stress being put on a relationship. And if it's a mother-in-law who likes to get into relationships, I can see where you might have, a blowout and things like that. And so I don't think that that's any kind of red flag or anything. I think that's just maybe sometimes how family dynamics play out. And I saw where David Paulides actually commented on this case on his YouTube channel, Can Am Missing Project. Go check him out. It's an amazing channel, but was kind of surprised to see him covering this because he normally covers um, strange disappearances. I want to get that any bigger. Okay. Ones that don't seem to be able to be explained by normal means. And so I really thought it was interesting that he is covering this. So let's just listen to a little bit about what he's saying. See if he has any extra information that we might have missed. So let's hear from David.
12:25, RCMP had been there less than 2.5 hours. They make a news release stating that 2 children were missing from Lansdowne Station. That's a small area that they're in. And they request if the public has seen any kids or has any knowledge of the disappearances to contact the RCMP. And then they immediately say there's no evidence of abduction. They've been out on scene less than 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and they say there's no evidence of abduction. I don't quite know how they could say that. That seems awfully quick to pull that out.
I agree on that. And I've seen people comment on videos saying, well, the likelihood, maybe since the parents didn't want to get up, they got up, they were hungry, maybe they like, oh well, let's go to school. And because it said she left with her little backpack, maybe, in kids' minds, think maybe we're going to go out and we're going to try to catch the bus. I don't know. Did they have breakfast at school? Here, kids can get breakfast at school, so maybe they thought, well, we're hungry, we want to go to school and get breakfast. Got ready for breakfast, got ready for school, walk out down the driveway, possibly somebody picks them up. And people say, well, the likelihood of a random stranger just happen to drive by while the kids are walking out is very unlikely. What if it wasn't a random stranger? Now, just a theory here, but if we're dealing with these child predators, they're monsters. They're predators. What do predators do? They hunt. They don't rely on randomly running across the victim. They stalk, they hunt. What if there was a predator in the area? And just think about it. What if there were cases in the area following school buses, seeing where kids got off, seeing locations where, small children lived? And maybe if they had been watching the buses, maybe they knew these kids didn't go to school a couple of days or whatever. You don't know. I mean, you really don't know. And so it could have been someone who was watching for that opportunity. So I agree with David that it is odd that they would automatically say there was no sign of abduction. I don't understand why. So, but let's see what else. Maybe he's got some more info.
4:55 p.m. same day, RCMP tell the public to stay out of the area of the search, which is ongoing. And they issue a vulnerable missing person alert for Picton County, Nova Scotia. RCMP decided to keep searchers in the woods through the night. Okay. Now, I've told you before, kids don't move at night. They sleep. I understand the need to keep somebody out there. Realistically, it's not going to do any good.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So I guess it would be really, but wouldn't you still be looking? I think I'd still want to be looking because you might could come across, especially if you're using like they could use the thermal. I wonder did they use the thermal stuff? Did they use to where if you have a child curled up under a bush trying to stay warm or something like that, you could pick up that heat signature if you were using like the thermal imaging. So I can see them being out searching like that, and you can do drones like that. That would I think would be a really good time because everything else cools down at night. I wonder if they did that part. Probably since they were doing drone searches, I'm sure they would. But yeah, I think I would. There's still things you can do at night, even if the missing person would stop moving.
Kids are going to bundle up, find a little cubby somewhere, buy some boulders. Sometimes they just lay on the ground and they sleep. May 4th, 160 searchers were hindered in their search efforts to find Lily and Jack because heavy rain covered the entire region. And they had a difficult time staying in the primary search zone 24/7 because it was so cold and so wet. We talk about weather being a factor on these searches under Missing 411. Well, obviously the kids weren't dressed for rain. May 6th, kids missing now 5 days. Daniel, the stepfather, tells CBC, Canadian Broadcasting News, that Malaya has left her home for another area of the province and then blocked him on social media. What? So, I've been on several searches for kids. I have never heard, nor have I ever read, of a mother leaving the search headquarters, which in this instance is essentially their home, to go to another part of the city to get away from what's happening there. I have never heard that. I've never heard of a father doing that. Friends, send up a prayer for Jack and Lily.
Okay, there has been an update on the Lily and Jack case, and this is from Michelle After Dark, which is another wonderful channel. I'm going to link the channels in the description below. But let's hear what the new update is.
Yesterday was International Missing Children's Day, and I believe Belinda is Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother. She posted some cute pictures of when they were little toddlers. Absolutely adorable. What we're going to do in this video is talk about other family members, one in particular, and how her temper has boiled over. Okay, the tempers are getting very frayed at Lily and Jack's paternal side of the family. There is someone called Daphne, and she is Lily and Jack's great aunt. She's their biological dad, Cody's aunt, and she's the sister of Lily and Jack's granddad. She has made comments on her social media before and answered questions, but this time she's got mad and she's speaking out. Check this out. Someone told me about this post in my live stream yesterday, what I did on this channel about Lily and Jack. After the live stream, I went look for it, and yeah, it's pretty shocking, actually. She's mad. She said the kids didn't even go in the woods in the first place. Plus, they have dogs in the yard, which if someone adopted them, I think that means abducted them, the dogs would have made a noise. I believe there's one dog. I don't know whether there's more than one dog, but I really don't think that Lily and Jack would have been abducted from the yard. It's practically impossible. A stranger walking up into the backyard to take Lily and Jack, I just can't see it. Now, if Lily and Jack left the property and were, let's say, for example, walking down the road or waiting for the bus, one very logical theory is that Lily was going into Malia and Daniel's room because she wanted to go to school, that she felt better and she wanted to go to school. That's why she took her backpack. That's why she kept coming in to remind them that she wanted to go to school. And as they didn't get up, maybe she got Jack ready and they went to wait for the bus. Maybe they missed the bus and were waiting there and someone picked them up, or they were walking down the road and someone picked them up. I think that's the only way that they could have been abducted by anybody who would be deemed a stranger. Then she says, I say they were take off the land by someone close to them, and by quad or vehicle, and they are nowhere in them dense woods. So just stop searching because you're not there. Telling people to stop searching, okay? You need to put these two people interrogation for 2 to 4 hours and see which one's going to crack. Because I know they're nowhere around the area whatsoever. In my heart, I know that. So please do interrogation. Now, we know that Daniel was interviewed for 4 hours one day. This is according to Daniel. They know that he's not involved, so, they trust him completely, and they were asking him places where Lily and
Oh,
Jack might
look at
have
those
gone.
pictures.
That's Daniel's story. Tell the mother you're
Yes.
going to take away the baby, or take the baby away from her, whatever the case may be, to get her to talk, because something has got to be done before it's too late.
Has anyone heard whether or not, I mean, I would assume surely they did as much questioning of the mother as they did the stepdad, but I haven't heard any information about, I guess it's because she's not talking, and Daniel's the one who's been talking about his interrogation, so she's not said anything. But I hope that she has had as much questioning as he did.
I say the kids are probably in Halifax Harbour. It's sad to say, but it's reality. Now, Halifax Harbour is an hour and a half drive away
Hmm.
from Gaylord Road. So any claim that they're in Halifax Harbour is pretty specific, honestly. And if someone did put them in there, I don't know what the tide's like, but imagine it would be impossible to find them by now. But why take them to Halifax Harbour? If you wanted to put them in water, the Bay of Fundy's closer, that coastline's closer. But Halifax Harbour, it's very specific. It's weird. Not saying she knows anything, I'm just saying, why pick Halifax Harbour? So some people responded to her.
That's a very good point. I mean, maybe there's something we just don't know about the area. But yeah, there are two other areas that are closer. Do either of the parents have some connection to that area, Halifax Harbor? Know anyone who maybe works in that area? There's got to be something that the reason that she's pointing that out.
And said, I believe their little lives were lost days before reported missing. Someone drove those little ones far enough away from their home, and when they do get found, those people will claim they were abducted and blame the RCMP. And I believe one of the adults on the property knows. How can two children just disappear, vanish, no trace? Breaks my heart. A lot of people think that they were disappeared, not on the Friday morning, but it is very concerning that no one that we know about outside of the family saw them after Tuesday. And it's even more concerning now we know from neighbour Melissa Scott that police are looking for trail cam and surveillance video footage from the 27th of April. That's the Sunday. So if they were in school Monday and Tuesday, then looking for footage 5 days before they were reported missing leads me to believe that they are now considering abduction. But if the cops have found out that Lily and Jack actually weren't in school on Monday and Tuesday, That's even more concerning. Daphne says, no, they are not around their home. Thing about that, the dogs couldn't even pick up a scent of any of the little ones. They were taken out of the yard by quad or vehicle and placed somewhere far away.
Oh, quad. I was muted. So quad, that's what they meant. I was wondering what she was saying. She means like a 4x4. Quad, yeah. Okay. So if police are now suspecting abduction, have they still not done an Amber Alert? I find that very odd. Let's see.
And then someone else says, CPS has already taken the baby till after investigation. Look, people have said the baby is still with Malia. Some have said she's been taken by CPS. People close to the family seem to believe that she is with Malia and Malia's mother, but I can't confirm that for sure. I agree with some of the comments. It's been weeks, still not found. I say they were given or taken for drugs they all for. There's not even one clue. Or this whole thing for comments is a big scam. Never saw nothing or heard nothing like this. Daphne replies, oh no, she's still got her bed with her. At her mother's place. I agree. There is nothing near their homestead. So, does Daphne know for sure that the baby's still with Malia? It's very interesting that Daniel isn't allowed to see his biological child. That's according to Daniel. I do find that very interesting. I mean, what, as Malia said, that CPS are stopping him seeing the baby. I mean, look, before Lily and Jack went missing, there was loads of pictures on Malia's Facebook all about she couldn't live without him. And then 24 hours after Lily and Jack were reported missing, she left and never came back. There's something funny there, isn't there? Something funny. Something really funny. Mandy says, they've been interviewed. The boyfriend said one day they questioned him for 4 hours. That is true. That's exactly what Daniel said. Daphne replies, thank you so much. I kept my mouth shut for too long. It's very hard reading about your own family, great niece and nephew. They are just babies. I hope Lily and Jack are found soon alive. I would definitely be amazed and happy, but if not, hope to find the bodies for closure.
Oh,
Yeah. And then someone
true.
says, why isn't your nephew doing anything to find his kids? That's a very good
The
question.
biological father,
Daphne says,
yes.
why? Because he just don't want to be down around those people. Doesn't have to be around those people, does he? To
No.
raise awareness, to appeal for them, but just nothing.
Yeah, he could come out and say something. Definitely, he could say something. I agree.
Crickets. Complete and total crickets, where Cody is concerned. But then Daphne says, that's not true, but I tell you who they interrogated for 4 hours, which is my nephew, the father of the kids, and my sister-in-law, the grandmother, for what they never even seen the kids in a year and a half. She kept the kids away from them. So she's saying that Daniel wasn't interviewed for 4 hours. I don't know if she would know that. But her nephew, the bio dad, has been interrogated, and her sister-in-law, which will be Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother. Obvious that they're going to go to those people thinking maybe they've abducted Lily and Jack. Maybe they know some stuff. But they haven't seen Lily and Jack for a year and a half, apparently, because Malia kept the kids away from them. That's her story. They didn't want them to know where they lived or anything, because look where to live, what kind of house they were living into. They only live 40 minutes away. Sharing brought the kids up, don't know what that means, because a boyfriend didn't like them. So why are police interrogating?
That's confusing.
My family, the police, or RCMP, whatever the F you called, are full of effing shit. They don't have a sweet effing clue. we look or what you're looking for, to me, my own opinion, that's all. I gotta say, just bring Lily and Jack home because we miss and love you so much. Is Daphne just talking, imagining the worst? It's like every side is honing in on Daniel. Malia's family honed in on him. That's why Malia left, saying Daniel's involved. And then we've got Lily and Jack's bio paternal side. So, did they really keep the kids away from Cody's family? Or were they not that bothered at the time? Cody didn't want to see them, Cody didn't press the matter. What went on behind the scenes, we have no idea, and we'll probably never know. And quite frankly, it's none of our business. But there is something deeply, deeply concerning about this case.
So true. Definitely something definitely concerning about this case.